AITA for refusing my brother and his pregnant wife? I am not Oop. Oop is you. It's okay, IDC. She posted in r, am I the asshole? Your daily fun fact to prevent spoilers on mobile. Emil Bovary requested the elephant shrew. Elephant shrews move by hopping, and a gland on the underside of their scaled tail secretes a scent to mark their territories and keep predators away. They are named after their long, pointed nose that looks like an elephant's trunk. Trigger warnings. ASPD. Mental health stereotypes. Less than. Mood spoiler. Seems like a fairly positive ending. Less than. Original post. January 23, 2023. I, 21F. Have a boyfriend, 22 meters, of 3 years who have ASPD. Editor's note: ASPD stands for antisocial personality disorder. Mayo Clinic definition here. My Sil, who is 5 months pregnant, is scared of him and wanted me to end my relationship. After her pestering me for days and me trying to reassure her that I have a support system and my boyfriend will be completely cut off from her child, she still wouldn't stop texting me every day to break up. Me and my boyfriend decided to fake break up until the baby is born. Today I was running an errand for my brother and his wife. Sil asked me if I'm still seeing my boyfriend, to which I answered no. She told me I make the right decision and said that she can finally have a peaceful sleep. She keep talking about how her stress level have been going up because of my affair and she's glad she won't have to raise a kid in the presence of my boyfriend. This is where I might be the asshole. Sil asked me if I will move in with them. I answer with a simple no, and when she said she haven't stated the reason for her request and asked me to listen her out, I told her, I don't really care about your reason. I won't move in with you, and walk out of the house. She texted me, saying it's unfair and cruel of me to be upset at her for trying to do what's best for everyone. She wanted me to stay with them so she can keep an eye on me and that I put her under lots of stress, which is bad for pregnancy. I feel like but also thinks she's pushing me too much. Edit. January 24, 2023. My brother have a talk with my Sil and she have called me to apologize for her behavior. I came clean about the fake breakup. She says it's wrong of her to assume the worst in my BF. My brother asked her what would she do if their child was unfortunate enough to have the same diagnosis and that change her perspective. Her words. But she have her concerns still and think it's best for my BF to keep his distance until further notice. And she will be speaking to her doctor about her anxiety and stress. She also offered to apologize to my boyfriend, but my boyfriend says he doesn't care about some pretty words and tell her to manage her own health, both mental and physical. Thanks everyone for your concern and advice. And to all those that made unnecessarily rude comments about my boyfriend and our relationship. Learn some empathy. Relevant comments. Many people wonder if he's isolating her. Not to say you're wrong, but my boyfriend doesn't try to push my family away. When I tell him about my SIL's concern, he said unless I want to cut her off I can lie to her for the time being. Me and my boyfriend doesn't live together and I am not too close to my Sil, so it's not that hard to keep my relationship a secret. About our relationship, I am willing to stay in the relationship as long as all my needs are met. And we're only in our early 20s, nothing is for sure. I am aware things might take a dark turn and I am fully prepared to leave the relationship if I have to. Many people ask why she's not afraid of him and why she doesn't agree with her Sil. She's stigmatizing ASPD. I know my boyfriend better than my Sil. I am not denying that he is capable of doing great harm, but I have a great understanding of his motive and priorities. Committing crimes is of no benefit for him. He is from a loving home. He get the help and support he needs even before he was diagnosed. No. I am encouraged to be patient, but I should never accept it as normal behavior. The tricky part is that it can't be said for sure if his actions are the product of his disorder. Let's say he lie about something, I can't just said it's because of his disorder. Normal people lie as well. Unlike everyone here, I don't think she wants me to be a free babysitter. Where I live, it's not uncommon for relatives to help out during pregnancy, and she already have a live-in maid, nanny. Also, I'm pretty sure her sister will move if they end up not liking the maid, nanny. I believe she is concerned about my BF's disorder, and if you add that with prenatal anxiety, it's not too surprising for her to stress over it. I don't think it's only a stereotype. After all, stereotypes aren't made out of thin air, and I am not asking anyone to accommodate my BF. ASPD is a spectrum. Not everyone with ASPD is a criminal, and to treat them as such is dehumanizing. Given the history and record of people with ASPD, I'd say it's understandable if you don't feel secure, safe with them, but treating them like the devil when they didn't even do any harm. Especially if they're actively getting help, treatment is just sad and unsympathetic. More about Sil and if she's met the boyfriend and how she found out. She completely believed that everyone with ASPD are master manipulator and they will eventually committed major crime. 2 weeks ago, my parents hosted a family dinner get-together, and they invited their children and their spouse, me, my BF, my elder brother, his wife, and my little brother. And while we're chatting, the topic shifted to mental health. My BF made a comment about having a PD. My Sil keep asking him to disclose the specific disorder. My parents are aware that my BF have a complex PD but don't know the exact diagnosis. My family and my boyfriend met quite a few times, but there's never been any incident. My Sil unfortunately have a miscarriage during her teen pregnancy before she and my brother are together. I think that's where the sensitivity is from. Quote backslash. Before Sil met him, she told me I found a good match for myself. The night before we made the decision to fake our breakup, I have an encounter with my Sil at a store. As usual, she asked me to break up with my BF and said some nasty stereotypes about people with ASPD. And I know it's stupid of me, but I have an outburst and told her off, making her cry. I apologize and send her home, but her friends and relatives texted me and said I'm stressing out pregnant women who only wanted to keep me safe. I understand her concern, and I was scared something might happen to her pregnancy again if she's too stressed out, so to keep her at ease I decided to deceive her until she deliver the baby. More about boyfriend and if he hates emotions, his relationship with them. Yes. But he doesn't think of them as challenge, just as an annoyance. He's quite apathetic, and I'm also not the emotional type. When we started dating, we decided to make it last and goes to couple counseling. He have been in family therapy and individual therapy since he was a child. He knows how to keep himself in check. I would say our relationship is mostly based on logical reasoning, and we both knows what we want from each other. I asked her if he did anything to make her uncomfortable, and she denied that. And from what I know about my boyfriend, he is not interested in hurting people. Update post. February 2nd, 2023. In my original post, I edited an update about how I have a talk with my Sil and she apologized for her actions. She also decided to see a therapist, as most of the comments suggested I talk to my brother and parents about Sil's behavior. It have been a week and we are all doing mostly good. My Sil have her first therapy session. She finds it nerve-wracking but believes it'll be effective. She tells me that she would randomly think about my boyfriend's diagnosis and get all anxious, and whenever she caught herself getting anxious over this, she played tavern music and draw a medieval town. I don't know the exact term, which seems to work really well to soothe her. She also gets a better sleep and the baby is healthy. I have read all the comments in my original post, though I disagree with some of the comments about my Sil. I agree that I was at fault for not setting boundaries and lying to her about my relationship. I am truly grateful for all the advices, and it was such a great insight and motivation to read about people who are in a similar situation as me and my BF. I also apologize to my BF for disrespecting our relationship. We both agree that we should no longer disclose his diagnosis to anyone. Unfortunately, we have to change our couple therapist, and it's hard finding a new one. Apart from that, things are going well, and last Friday I formally met his family for the first time, which goes beyond my expectation. Again, I would like to say thank you all for your support and advice. Relevant comment: why are you changing therapists? To hide it? Our therapists have sadly passed away just a few days ago. May their soul be in peace. I marked this as concluded because the issue itself has been resolved. Their couple's therapist passed away. Sad face. I appreciate that most of these comments are serious. However, the story took a turn for me when I learned Sil listens to tavern music and draws medieval scenes to calm herself. Not to be rude, but this strikes me as hilarious. For an interesting book with lots of people with ASPD, try The Psychopath Test by John Ronson. People with her boyfriend's diagnosis exist on a huge spectrum. The number who commit crimes are likely to be incredibly low compared with the number that exist. Her Sil needs to let her live her life. She does need to stop further revealing his diagnosis, since people equate him with a killer before they equate him with a cutthroat businessman. Would I date him? Nope. But my background and trauma isn't hers. She's young. She's 20. It's uncomplicated, and with his emotional range, he's unlikely to ever make it complicated for her. Break up with your boyfriend. Quote: no. Wah. Break up with your boyfriend. Sigh. Okay, I did. Move in with me. No. Wah. Quote: I'm sensing a pattern here. I hope Sil continues therapy. This post is just a series of people assuming the worst about Oop and her partner. Stress doesn't end normal. Healthy pregnancies. Pregnant women survive infidelity, divorces, deaths of loved ones, illnesses, deaths of other children, political upheaval, rebellions, in full ways, all without losing their pregnancies. Can it affect high-risk pregnancies? Yes, absolutely. But healthy women with healthy pregnancies are not delicate like flowers that can't survive a cold snap. Speaking as a former mental health care provider, the problem with the ASPD diagnosis is that it puts a really big emphasis on criminal behavior. That's a concern for two reasons. It stigmatizes ASPD patients who aren't, or unlikely to become, criminals. And it leaves undiagnosed a whole segment of individuals who really should be included. These individuals are generally high-functioning but still dangerous, the Bernie Madoffs of the world. The concept of psychopathy comes closer to hitting the non-criminal sociopathic mark. But 1. It's not a diagnosis here in the States, and 2. It misses the mark when it comes to low-functioning sociopaths. My neighbor, who is also my mother's childhood friend, also has this disorder. She also has a husband, 2 kids, and a successful career. Her family seems happy as far as anyone can say, as she told my mother. She didn't really feel emotions, but recognized them as important part of other people's lives. She was practical, but not heartless, and a fake. Hasn't committed any crimes. She didn't have access to therapy for the most of her life though, and her kids also had way better childhood than most of the normal parents' kids in my country. I know it's anecdotal, but this still sounds prejudiced. I mean, she demanded them to break up over his medical condition. It's not okay, and I don't understand why Op is so chill about it. I'd be more worried about living with Sil, who seems controlling and manipulative. I grew up dealing with people who did things like Sil. I'm pregnant and stressed, so you must live with me type stuff. Genuinely not sure what to think about this one. On the one hand, I would be really touched if my Sil cared about me so much she's willing to move me in, despite having a new baby in her life, to protect me from a perceived danger. On the other hand, that's a lot of assumptions there, Batman. Popping in here to remind everyone that psychopathy does not equal ASPD. Psychopathy is an extreme form of ASPD from my knowledge. It exists on a spectrum. OOP's BF could sit on the lower end of the spectrum, but she never confirms this, so we can't say for sure. Considering the BF seems to have a healthy support system and good therapists, he looks to be doing fine. Mild concern for possible risk is, of course, warranted. The degree to which Sil is fixated on OOP and her BF is not. We both agree that we should no longer disclose his diagnosis to anyone. I'm glad that she came to this conclusion. You can't judge one's relationship from just a little bit of info. BF's condition is a concern, but the SIL's obsession with OOP creeps me out. Dated someone with ASPD. Strongly wouldn't recommend. Sil needs to let OOP live her life. Glad they reached an understanding. At the end of the day, we need to make our own decisions. And if the relationship works for OOP, that is what matters. We all have different needs. I'm a highly emotional person. When I feel things, I feel it hard. So I would not be compatible with someone who is more logic-based. To use OOP's terminology, we need to date the people that make us happy. She played tavern music and draw a medieval town. Well, that's cute as heck. Funny how folks love preaching about the importance mental health awareness, therapy, the destigmatization of mental illnesses, disorders, etc. until someone has a personality disorder face with hand over mouth. For those who think her family is being too judgmental, APD, antisocial personality disorder, is a DSM-5 Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition. Diagnosis assigned to individuals who habitually and pervasively disregard or violate the rights and considerations of others without remorse. People with antisocial personality disorder may be habitual criminals, or engage in behavior which would be grounds for criminal arrest and prosecution, or they may engage in behaviors which skirt the edges of the law, or manipulate and hurt others in non-criminal ways which are widely regarded as unethical, immoral, irresponsible, or in violation of social norms and expectations. Those with APD often possess an impaired moral conscience and make decisions driven purely by their own desires without considering the needs or negative effects of their actions on others. Impulsive and criminal behavior is common. I'm living for the Sil listening to tavern music and drawing a medieval town when she catches herself conjuring up a personality for OOP's boyfriend, and the baby getting better sleep because of it. Christ, while I know this is so much more severe, the first time I read this I thought of the asshole who insisted she could feel her partner dancing, painting, having fun in the same house several rooms away. Does anyone else think Sil wanted her to move in so she could have a live-in nanny? What was the best for everyone? Comment about.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.